Elevation is one key to understanding East Africa. Mount Kilimanjaro, located almost directly on the equator, is snow-capped all year round. While less than 200 miles away at the coast, the climate is hot and tropical. It's composed of Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, and Burundi, 5 states which recently came from European colonial rule. Much of the interior land is over a mile above sea level. These higher elevations, in turn, affect the climate and way of life of the people. Following the rhythm of the monsoons, mariners of Arabia, India, and Southeast Asia have traded along East African coasts for over 2,000 years. Great Arab dhows, built and rigged as they have been for centuries, still call at the old harbor in Mombasa. On board, age-old customs have changed little. Arabian tea is still brewed in the old way. Only a century ago, the dhows carried African slaves to the Middle East. But today they bring cargoes of carpets and furniture from Arabia, which are ferried ashore in smaller boats. Over the centuries, many Arabs have settled in the coastal cities. In Mombasa's old quarter, mosques and carved doorways reflect their influence. Indians, too, are concentrated in this district, their colorful saris matching the rich art of the Hindu Kutch temple. Mombasa, the largest port of East Africa. Deep water berths, dredged in Kiladini Harbor, permit large ships to dock. Here, needed imports such as machinery and trucks are unloaded, while East African produce, such as coffee and sisal, are loaded for export. The lifeline of East Africa's export trade is the railway to the interior. Moving inland, the railroad crosses the hot tropical belt of the lowland and begins a steady climb onto the bush country plateau, over 2,000 feet in elevation. The drier climate and limestone soils permit large-scale sisal cultivation. The heavy leaves contain strong fibers that are used in making cord and twine. Though many leaves are removed in harvesting, new ones grow back, and each plant has a life of nearly 15 years. Planting the young sisal must therefore be done carefully to allow room for growth. To avoid shipping the bulky leaves over long distances, processing factories are located near the plantation. The fibers are removed mechanically. Sisal was introduced to Africa from Mexico 50 years ago, but it is now an important cash export of East Africa. It is particularly important in Tanzania, where cattle cannot be raised because of the deadly tsetse fly. When the fibers are dry, they are separated into individual strands for spinning. Later, these will be woven into various kinds of rope and cord. On the surrounding plateau, many kinds of African wildlife and big game are found. Here, early railroad workers lost their lives to man-eating lions. But through the years, hunting has killed off much of the game. Today, the East African governments have set aside national parks to preserve their native animal life. The plateau region is also the home of the Maasai, a cattle-herding people who still cling to their old customs. They live in small villages, subsisting on a diet of milk and blood from their cattle. The Maasai are fierce warriors, and in the past, tribal custom required young men to corner and kill a lion, armed only with spears. The proud Maasai still resist change, but all around them, Africa is developing rapidly. More typical of East Africa today is Nairobi. Deeper interior, on land over a mile high, this city was begun as a railroad construction camp just 60 years ago. Now, with a population of 250,000, it is the capital of Kenya and the business center of East Africa. Large shopping areas provide modern products, and over 50% of all East African manufacturing is located in the vicinity. Cigarette making and brewing have become important industries. A new meat packing plant provides meat products of the highest quality. More than 500 Africans work in this modern shoe factory. Much of the leather comes from cattle of the Highlands. High elevation gives this region a cool, pleasant climate. So many European farmers settled here that the area became known as the White Highlands. But since political independence, many are leaving, and large tracts of land have been opened to African farmers. Free from the tsetse fly, the highlands are ideal for livestock. The herds combine both European and African breeds. The high valleys are also well suited for coffee growing. Coffee has become the leading cash crop of East Africa. The young plants are placed in the shade, but as they grow higher, must be transplanted several times and carefully cultivated. After 5 years, the tree produces its first crop of coffee cherries. This is the fruit of the tree, and within it is the coffee bean. First, the coffee cherries are sorted for ripeness. Then they are crushed and soaked in water to remove the outer covering. Finally, the yellowish beans float free, and after drying in the sun, are ready for export. In the heart of the highlands is the Great Rift Valley, a huge cleavage in the Earth's surface. 40 miles wide where it passes through the highlands, the valley has many extinct volcanoes. In places, dense rainforests cover the rugged slopes, providing a great timber reserve. Giant African mahogany, olive, and yellowwood trees, sometimes 180 feet tall, supply East Africa's needs, with substantial surplus for export. West of the highlands, the air becomes moist and the land marshy as it slopes down to meet Lake Victoria. The largest lake in Africa, second largest in the world, Victoria is like a great inland sea, nearly 4,000 feet above sea level. It is the source of the Nile. Here, fishing is a major industry. 20,000 fishermen in boats of all descriptions fish the lake. Some of the catch is sold at lakeside markets. But many fish are dried and shipped to other African areas. Surrounding the lake are some of the most fertile lands in East Africa. This is a densely populated region with farms of all sizes covering the landscape. The rich soil makes it one of the few areas where Africans can plant crops without quickly exhausting the land. The most important crop by far is cotton, which is grown entirely by Africans. Much of the cotton supplies an expanding textile industry. But where farmers still use primitive methods, productivity is low and people poor. The government is having success in reorganizing agriculture. Small farms are being combined into large ones, where soil research and modern techniques can be adopted. At the mouth of the lake, a giant dam harnesses Owens Falls. The power generated here provides 2/3 of East Africa's electricity and has enabled industries and cities to expand rapidly. One such city is nearby Kampala, the capital of Uganda. Today, this modern and cosmopolitan city is representative of the direction of African progress. Kampala is one of the farthest points in the interior reached by Indians. They were first brought here as railroad laborers. Now their Hindu temple dominates the skyline. Since independence, foreign investment for industry has been hard to obtain. But the government of Uganda is using tax money to develop many projects, such as this cement plant. Amidst East Africa's rapid advances, many problems remain to be solved. More housing developments are needed to eliminate substandard conditions. Most people still have little money and often subsist on poor diets, prepared in primitive and unsanitary ways. Increased education is perhaps the greatest hope for these emerging nations. There is an enormous need for trained personnel in all occupations. The future development of these countries depends on the education and training of its youth. Today, in modern universities at Nairobi and Kampala, and in outdoor grade schools in the Kenya bush, East Africa is working to meet this challenge.